Today, we have a government trying to railroad through an undemocratic, a stinking, rotten deal that they've done with Michael Lowry and his team of TDs that supports Michael Lowry. We will totally oppose that today, both in leaders' questions and in the order of business at a leader stage today. The bottom line is this country, this Taoiseach in this country and this Taoiseach in this country have done a stinking, rotten deal with Michael Lowry. We don't know how much it has cost. We do know it's going to cost over 5 million in extra super junior ministers and junior ministers and extra pay. We do know that much. But is it going to cost the taxpayer 50 million, 150 million, 250 million? We don't know. And we have a right to know. Taxpayers of this island have a right to know what's the stinking, dirty deal that's been done inside in that Dáil, behind the taxpayers' back. And I certainly tell you today, it's cost us a lot of money. But surely be to God, it's not going to cost us our democracy, the democracy of this Irish Republic. And we, Independent Ireland, will do everything in our power to oppose that deal going through today. It's unfortunate because there's hugely important business to be conducted in this Dáil that has been held up for months and months and months while this game is going on. The Taoiseach will tell us today that we've tried to resolve this issue. There was effectively one honest-to-God meeting on this issue since this Dáil has after the general election since the end of November. One meeting of the Dáil Reform Committee. I have attended every business meeting, every Dáil Reform Committee meeting since the beginning of this whole saga. But one meeting as such. The first meeting was the day that the Dáil, that the agreement was made by the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach that they would work with the opposition to make sure that they came up with a solution. And we went to the Dáil Reform meeting that evening to discuss where we go. And the deal was we'd all make submissions, come back on the 26th of February, and on the 26th of February when we returned, the Chief Whip was waving this document at us saying this is going through one way or the other. And all the promises and all the words that the Taoiseach had made and the Taoiseach made were gone into the bin. Basically, we can tell the people of this country any which way we like a story that suits ourselves. But this deal, it cannot go through if our democracy is to stand strong. I appreciate my other colleagues that speak of this issue.
Yeah, come right into the
right. You might swap places there, Jens. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you a question. You're standing there at the moment. You're a reporter, camera people. Can you stand here and there at the same time? No, you can't. So common sense tells you opposition, government. Michael Lowry has publicly stated that he is voting for the government. He organised the deal for the government, but yet he wants to sit in opposition. If the reporters here today even allow this, your democratic system is gone. That's what's gone. Your voice is gone as much as ours. If we allow this go through, that's common sense. Let's show it to Micheál Martin. I can't be the presenter and sit in the audience. This is what it's down to. If you're manning up, Michael Lowry, man up and go into government, you organise. Otherwise, sit in the opposition benches and vote against government. He has said publicly that he's voting for government. He organised the deal. And if anyone in this country thinks that's right, then this country's gone down a slippery slope and we've lost all democratic power in this country. So please, common sense tells you, if I'm standing here, I can't be doing what you're doing.
Thank you for coming out. Could I just say, I'm amazed by what's going on inside here. As a first-time TD, I look at these parties who claim to be democratic. You look at the leaderships of these parties. They've dishonoured their leaderships, their previous leaders. I can imagine what De Valera would say today if he saw the leader of Fianna Fáil behaving the way he is today, the Taoiseach of the country today. I have to say, members of the press and the public, people are ringing us continuously in our offices. They're stopping us on the streets. We're meeting them outside the churches on Sunday. We're chatting to people, and people are absolutely appalled by the behaviour of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Lowry independents. This is not acceptable. People are asking us and telling us very, very clearly, this is not acceptable. This is a very slippery slope. This is the Republic of Ireland. It's not the Philippines. We're not under the Marcos regime. And it does seem to be saying, what's going to happen next? We'll silence the opposition. Who will we silence next? Will we silence the Fourth Estate? Will we silence those in industry that criticise us? Will we silence those in NGOs who are coming up with reports? Will we silence the CFI? Will we silence the IFA? Will we silence who? Who will we silence next? Irish farmers? Will we silence Middle Ireland? Will we silence churches? Will we silence different organisations and groups that criticise the government? Because this government wants to be 6 of one and half dozen of the other. And you cannot have a situation in government where you have both control of the opposition and control of the government. It's unacceptable, and we're not standing for it. And the people of Ireland are not standing for it.
We're obviously mere backbenchers who, we're obviously hoping that we will have the opportunity to speak more often in Leinster House. It's quite interesting, a lot of the focus today is going to be on defence and security issues. There's a Soc Dem motion around the triple lock that's going to be debated this week. How many minutes can any of us as government backbenchers speak during any aspect of that motion? 0. So there are bigger picture issues. Yes, totally accept there should be separation between government and opposition speaking time. But all TDs are entitled to have our mandates respected, and it's important that our voices, that we're allowed to have our views expressed as well. Yes, it's opposition's role and to get priority to hold government to account, but it is critical that as government backbenchers, we're also allowed to express our point of view.
Later on today, about 3 o'clock, you're going to see the culmination of extraordinary arrogance on the part of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. They're going to attempt to ram through a very substantive change to how we do parliamentary democracy in this country, and they're going to attempt to do so without a debate, which is unprecedented. It's an absolute dismissal of our role as public representatives to use that chamber as a way of giving voice to the issues that people have elected us to do so. The arrogance is extraordinary. I mean, I was in the chamber, you were watching on before Christmas when it was Joseph O'Madigan who said that the government would work with the opposition as a way of finding a solution to this. None of that has happened. The opposition, the Social Democrats, we have tried to be constructive. We've engaged at all times with the government, hoping to bring them back from this precipice of allowing the government to mark their own homework, to try to step them away from this grubby little deal that you've done with Michael Lowry that's going to change how we do business in Dáil, Ireland. And even now at this late stage, there is absolutely a chance for them to come to the table, but actually sit around it and talk about how we can bring forward a solution that will suit all parties, but also maintains the integrity of our Dáil.
We all know the big issue that's going to be on the floor of the Dáil today, unfortunately, is the recognition of the group's issue, or the speaking rights issue as it's been unfortunately labelled. Our position has remained the same since the day they tried to elect the Taoiseach, and we've had meetings up in the rooms up there and many other rooms since. This government have attempted to subvert decades of parliamentary practice. They've collapsed the proceedings of Dáil reform. They are bringing a motion, a sessional order to the Dáil today without debate. We are as angry now as we are then. What they're trying to do and what they're probably going to force through with a vote today is utterly wrong. And I think we are on the right side of this, and I think there will be an expression, a strong expression, we're all expecting it, of opposition in the chamber. Today we will be meeting as a parliamentary party after this gathering here to decide what we're individually going to do in concert with our colleagues. But it's, I'm yet to be stopped in the street or for someone to email me to tell me that we're wrong in terms of our position on this. The world is on fire, as they say. There's wars, there's conflict, we have huge threats in relation to trade and the economy, we have a housing crisis, and we have so many other issues. We don't want to be discussing this, but that said, we can't roll over and let what Micheál Martin wants to do in relation to Michael Lowry and his group and how it's been used as a Trojan horse for others in government opposition to get what's going to be a pretty insipid, discount leaders' questions. Ultimately, a fawning exercise where backbenchers will be lavishing praise on ministers. I mean, it's just going to be bad for Parliament. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, these kind of questionings. Maybe in some kind of sham parliaments, but not in a proper functioning democracy. So again, I'm very clear. I'm very content with our position on this, and I think we will have to bring that. Unfortunately, we won't have a debate. Again, that's the decision of the Government Chief Whip, but we will be bringing, again, our opposition to this on the floor of the Dáil. Like, government backbenchers do get opportunities to speak, and they've presented themselves quite falsely and disingenuously to the Irish people over the last couple of months, as if they're this gagged rabble that can't say anything in the chamber or in committee rooms, and it's absolutely nothing could be further from the truth. So again, they've used this Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael backbenchers as a Trojan horse to get more time to dilute the import of leaders' questions, which is a very, very important part of our Parliament. And they've also cut Taoiseach's questions in half. Like the Taoiseach will only be doing one Taoiseach's questions. They've reduced opposition time in terms of private members' business. Our own business, they've actually reduced our time. And again, going back all those times, as if we don't need reminding, this is fundamentally because we have a group who negotiated a programme for government, who presented a programme for government and are mentioned in the programme for government, presenting that they're not a member of government. And again, it's as wrong now as it was all those weeks ago.
I'm going to talk briefly about the speaking rights issue here today, which is obviously going to consume the system here in Leinster House. We live in a democracy, and the functioning of the Dáil is really important to that democracy. Up till now, there has been a certain level of consensus between opposition and government into how the Dáil operates. It looks like that the government is going to ride roughshod in the majoritarian sense over that consensus and force through their desires for speaking rights changes. The government already have majority in terms of Dáil numbers, but now they want a majority in terms of the groups that exist within Leinster, within the Dáil. There was an opposition and government group, now there's going to be a third hybrid group who will in effect actually support the government. We think that's absolutely wrong. And in actual fact, even at this late stage, we're looking to see if there can be mediation between the government and the opposition to see can we achieve some level of a reasonable solution to this particular crisis.